Hello, hello everyone, and we're live. It's good to be back. So let's go. I don't expect much people to be on right now. Okay, so let's do this. It would be cool to have some sound check if everything is okay or not. Maybe I'll have to do it myself. One, two. E agora, 1, 2, 3, sound. One, two, sound. Okay, seems reasonable. So, let's stop listening on this end. There we go. Oh, perfect. Okay, everyone. So let's bring this screen right on. This is a second part. Well, not exactly a second part, but maybe a better version of what was existing before. Today we will be doing in easy mode, installing a analytics application in a Laravel Forge server, freshly deployed, and you might know from a previous blog post I've done and some videos, maybe I went all in with some tools like traffic that are a little bit deep. And from my understanding, my experience all this time, I found out that not everyone is enjoying to study Docker. So maybe a light version, which would be what I'll be presenting today, will also be enjoyable, as you don't need to learn it, you don't need to know it or master it at all. Let's just understand some concepts and let's go from there. Okay, cool. So let me bring up my just deployed um, Forge server. It was the graceful wildflower. So here we go. So here it is. It was freshly deployed. I think I can show it. Well, it was created 35 minutes ago. I'll show you in Etzner just that tiny bit. Yeah, but it's just freshly installed. Also, it was previously I've done the DNS records in Cloudflare, not proxied, so that's something we will explore in a next video very soon. How can we protect our servers from DDoS attacks and get them anonymous, like no one will know their IPs. So this is some guide for me to follow, and hopefully after this video I will have everything on point to make a good blog post, and whoever feels like visiting the video can do that, and who else wants to read, then it can also. So yeah, let's do this. So as a first step, we have to, ideally, of course, I could not do it live or it would take forever. So we have to deploy the Forge server and have these DNSs in place. And let's follow and let's install Docker in this server. I can go in and show you it's not running. So let me just bring the YouTube video, I want to watch it. Yeah, the chat, I want to be on it. Not counting on much people to be in, but don't want to lose it out of sight. So yeah, so we're gonna go into that server, and here we go, just freshly installed on your typical just fresh provisioned server, no projects still installed in the home folder. And if I were to do docker ps, it's impossible to run. So, okay, command docker not found. Let's take care of that. Let me introduce you also this repository. I've been doing it today. And here we go. So, full stack joy. Here we go. Oh, so this is fullstackjoy.com, so it will be the website. So, sorry. Yeah, so the full stack joy will be or is where we can find many services that we will be able, we're starting with Plausible, we will be able to easily deploy. And that's it. We will find, you will have time to read, and I will go through this in a minute. So first things first, let's just install Docker so that we can install self-hosted applications. If you are asking what's that, you can visit this awesome self-hosted repository where you will find tons, dozens, maybe hundreds of applications that you can use for over a bunch of categories, which you can use to install and make use of that. And because it's Docker, it's just a tiny detail that it's Docker, but it's very convenient to use in some declaration files, as we will see. So what we'll be looking for is exactly in the README, and it's just these two commands. Of course, maybe you're not using a Forge server, and we'll also cover that in the near future. What we're looking for are those two lines, and I have that already in a recipe. So yeah, what we're going to do is, in this graceful wildflower, we'll be running a recipe. And this recipe, I already have it here. It's the simplest one. So what we're going to do is we will retrieve the installation script from Docker itself and run that install. After that, we will give the Forge user the Docker group so that it can run Docker commands without being so that a non-root user can issue Docker commands. So yeah, let's run that as root. So we will install. So let's run it in our graceful wildflower. Here we go. And that recipe is starting to run. I'll receive the email once it's finished. Here we go. So it ran already. It sent me the report. So it just installed Docker 24 latest version. And if all goes well, we are now in, and we ran Docker and it ran. So don't mind much about the terminal. Well, let me get out and log in again because of the permission. And sure enough, now we have the ability to run Docker commands, but I just went in SSH so that we could look what was going on. What we're going to do right now or after is to install the website so that we can install Plausible afterwards. If you notice, I have already made the DNS record and we're gonna do just that. So we're gonna add this site, which will be at analytics.fullstackjoy.com, and we're gonna add this site. That's it. Oh, and people joined. Hey, sorry. So, Mushud Olavale. Hi, Patricio. Thanks for the great content. No, Mushud. Thank you for joining. Sebastian Perez. Hello. Long time. So, yeah, nice to see you again. Sorry, I was already reading the thing. So, Sebastian is asking, do you have an AWS account and use Forge? I mean, you have to pay for both services? Yeah, that's right. It's not AWS in this case, it's Etzner, but Forge is a service that can connect to a cloud provider and just conveniently do some heavy lifting for you. Yeah, that's it. If you go all in Docker, maybe you can do it on your own. But yeah, this approach today is just for self-hosted apps, and let's see where it goes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure exactly how this will be in the future, but I would like this to grow as a recipe that we can use and contribute and grow with community contributions to use self-hosted services. So yeah, well, right now I'm just gonna, the important is to get this plausible folder. This is the stuff that is needed to put this application to run. And plausible is a, well, maybe it's not plausible. Plausible Analytics. Yeah, so it's .io. So it's a self-hosted, privacy-friendly Google Analytics alternative. And there's a self-hosted version, and that's what we're going to do right now. So what I'm going to do is to install from the Git repository, that's ijpatricio / fullstackjoy. There's the main branch, no need to install composer dependencies, and let's install it. So again, it doesn't even have to be a repo, just has to be we just have to make that these files go up, and the convenience of having the Forge project will be to have the Nginx site and also the environment and run a couple of commands, the SSL. So yeah, this is the Forge way, and soon enough we will do another version without any UI. So we will do it with our with some automations, but without Forge. Okay, so it's installed. So I can just make sure by going in, and if I go to analytics.fullstackjoy.com, I can see that there's that folder inside. So right now, if I go inside, there's the README we were in, but also in Plausible, there's another README. And for each service that will be in .services, there's for now not just oriented instructions for each service because it depends on each one, right? There's the references we can check, but let's keep it simple. Let's just run these commands for now, and we can run them in the terminal or in the UI. There's also the possibility to run them here, but let's run them in the terminal for now. It will be quicker, nice, convenient. We are developers, so yeah. Okay, so what this is going to, I'm going to put myself in the base folder, right? And I'm going to copy all files here. So apart from those hidden files, we have the project files and also that run command. And sure enough, let's also bring the .env file, and this other command will generate a secret, and it will be on the screen. No worries, because of course this is going all to be deleted. This is just for educational purposes. And if all went well, let me grab this secret generated. We can now go inside the environment file, and yeah, we will change the secret key base. Maybe we can put, to be safer, in quotes, and the base URL will be https://analytics.fullstackjoy.com, and we're gonna go and save that. And that's it. We have that .env file. It was changed with that output. And let's have a quick look at how the Docker Compose looks like. And this might become complex, so let's just think of the foundation of this. This is what I try to explain to everyone in the base repository. And let's forget Docker and that we have to learn Docker. Let's just think about three things. There are containers, there are volumes, and there are ports. So in a nutshell, a container is an environment, an isolation. It's an isolated environment where a process runs, and this environment has a base image, so it's like an ISO, and that process is running inside that image and isolated from that. So that's it. And in Docker, we can just run like we add a dependency to Composer or to NPM when we do, for example, NPM install Tailwind or Composer require Laravel. we are bringing lots of stuff down, right? Lots of heavy lifting has been done for us, and in Docker that's no exception. We can do just uh, we can just like Docker pull, or just like the composer.json, we can add in a docker compose.yaml file. We can add an image. Let's bring that up again. So let's focus on this section right here. Whoops. This is one service. And yeah, we are saying, hey, I want to run Postgres 14, and that's it. That's the dependency. And for the next part, we want this dependency to be always running, and that's it, basically. That's the container. And volumes. What are volumes? Volumes are units of storage. So a container runs, but it's ephemeral. So all its contents can and will be most likely destroyed and rebuilt once it's ran again, or once it's upgraded. So what we have to do to keep our critical data always with us and backed up, well, that's a different process, but yeah, it has to be outside of this isolated environment. That's where volumes come in. Volumes are just folders that we map to inside this container, or it can be just named volumes, and Docker does the management of creating the folder and doing the binding by itself, so we just reference it as a name. So coming back, there is a volume with the name dbData, because it's not a path, it's just a string. It doesn't start with a dot or a slash. So Docker will create a name with this volume, and everything that will be inside this image in this folder will always be inside that volume. So until the day that we delete that volume, we will have the contents of this folder safe. Yeah. So last concept, when we're self-hosting and understanding these things, we already have an executable, we already have storage, so now we have to access it. And this is where ports come in. So let's say we have a VPS. I'll try to draw it here in this corner, and we might have one container or even two containers, for example running Nginx. And this means that each container isolated is running the Nginx service in port 80. And what we're referencing here about ports and maps is that the VPS just has one port 80, right? And what we can do if we want to run it there is to map one to this port to one of the containers, and if we want to map the other container to the outside world, or where we can connect it, then we have to map it on a different port. So let's say 81. And this is where something comes in, which is the Nginx feature, which is a reverse proxy, meaning that, well, these will not be in port 80, that's for sure. Whoops, I deleted everything and cannot bring it back, no problem. So Nginx will be using port 80 and 443, right? We will have one app running, for example, in 8000, and say there's a second app running in 3000. And what we'll do is we will map, let's just to some whatever random port we can find. So let's say 3000 to 3000 and 8000 to 8000. And what we will do is these ports will be exposed to the world, right? If it's not proxied server in Cloudflare, for example. And what we'll do is we will make sure that all these ports are closed, and only are open to the world 80 and 443. And what Nginx will do is, behind the scenes, without being exposed to the world, the reverse proxy is there's a request coming in port 443, and what Nginx will take that request and forward it to the port 3000 of the machine, meaning that Nginx request will be ultimately using this container. I hope that was clear. So Sebastian is asking, do you know why I'm having different permissions on my volume? It's a directory from a MySQL image in Docker. So different permissions on your volume. So Sebastian, what can be happening? I don't know, I'm guessing, but maybe by any chance did you start the container with one user and it's mapping a folder from another user to inside such container? Okay, so going on, we have quick recap: containers, executables, volumes, storage, and ports, communication. That's it. That's all we need to know to use Docker as a self-hosting tool. So this is like the composer.json file. It's called a docker compose.yaml. And we have one executable, which is a database, runs this image, maps this port, this volume. So this is another database. It's called ClickHouse, and it's a different kind of database. I don't know it really well, but Plausible needs it to run. And there's also the Plausible executable, the main one, that also has an image. And of course, there's some intricacies related to Docker. Let's not dive in on that. What we need to know is we can access it in port 8000 on the container and 8000 on the machine. If we want to change that, we can change in the .env file. Yeah, so that's it. Cool. So what we're going to do is deploy the thing. But before, let's just generate the Let's Encrypt certificate. Let me check if Sebastian is doing something. Answering already, still not. Okay. Whoa, 30 minutes already. Time flies. I was forgetting about this. Okay, activating active. Okay, so I'm gonna go open in a different browser and okay, no input file specified, but it's cool. We already have it under SSL. And what we're going to do is we're gonna go back into deployments, into application, and yeah, we will not need to run this. I will leave it for now, or if we don't need it, don't use it, but I'll just have it here. And in the repository, we can find how to start the stack, which will be just this command, which will bring up what is defined in the specification in that YAML. And also D means detach, so we issue the command and it will be running in the background. And remove orphans means once we change the specifications and we remove a service, it will then destroy that container. So yeah, it's cleanup after running, something like that. So we're updating and we're gonna deploy. And if we will check Docker PS, nothing is running, but if we'll be watching, sure enough, Every 2 seconds we are refreshing, and I'm expecting that it will start, and it did. So yeah, it was created, and that's it. It's running all the stack. So if we go here, whoop, the other browser, if we come here and we refresh, oh, nothing. That's cool. Why? Because, well, it's running on port 8000, maps to 8000. It has its own database. PostgreSQL, it's very light. We can check Docker stats, and we'll see that, well, plausible takes 300 megabytes, database just 50, around 50, and events about 70. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And we can manage multiple websites. What we're missing to do, so we are already running plausible instructions, we adjusted .env, the deploy script, we deployed, we generated the SSL certificate, and right now we're gonna do the Nginx proxy. So we need to forward that requests to this running container. Just a small note, Sebastian Perez is saying, no, I don't want to bother your explanation. Okay, Sebastian, cool. But please reach out in Twitter or Discord if you find me in Sam or yeah, so in Twitter, you know, or yeah, just let me know. We can hang out and speak a little bit about that later. Um, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna edit the Nginx configuration, and if you wanna find this, if you go to the plausible readme, there's the instructions here. The reference comes from plausible installation page. So yeah, everything is coming from here, and that's where this template or this recipe is being generated from. So let's just find, this is the Nginx configuration. Let's leave it all as is for the certificates. What we don't need is the PHP handling, for example. And here we go. In location root, we are going to make a proxy pass. So incoming requests, all of them, will be forwarded to this IP. So this is the machine. So to myself on port 8000, and this instruction is important so that plausible knows the original IP address, and it's not localhost, the address of access. So yeah, let's gonna go ahead and save this. And if all goes well, yeah, we have it. It's running. Woohoo! Something went right on a live stream, so that's cool. So let me just check my extensions, yeah, because we shouldn't have any ad blockers for now. So I'm just gonna go and register the first account. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, blah blah blah, just something. So account is created. Oh, and we need to host some website, and as you've seen, I already did that. I'm gonna go and make a small website here, and I already took care. It's a fresh Laravel installation, but it has a view with the script that it will be the same. I've done this before while assembling all this solution, and this script you will get after running plausible. Whoops, so I'm gonna want to do the analytics for fullstackjoy.com. I'm gonna go and add the snippet. Oh, and this is because of the ad block that it was running. So Sorry, I will have to restart without that. It was an extension running. I have to check that. There's some, it's related to plausible and ad blockers. It's nothing related to infrastructure. So, ijpatrici.com. Yeah, I already created the user. Yeah, there it is. No ad blockers running here, so we're good to go. Let's go. We want to monitor this website. We could have more, right? In this single instance. So yeah, we are waiting for our first page view, and we want to see the snippet, and here it is, and it's running in the same domain as before, and I'm running the same version, so everything is the same. So this would be the time where I would go and copy this script, put it in the website on every page, and we can then start collecting data. So what I'm going to do is to fully deploy that fullstackjoy.com that most likely, of course, it will not be reachable now, but I'm going to deploy it right now in Forge, and it's a plain Laravel application, so it's going to be pretty straightforward for sure. Whoops, okay, I'll just take the copy paste. Okay, so ijpatricio / fullstackjoy.com, and I want to go with the main branch, and this time it's a Laravel project, so yeah, I want to install this repository, and this will be not Docker, it will be pure vanilla Forge. That's it. So cleaning some tabs. Okay, this is gone. Okay, and we are expected to visit a first page, and if all goes well, I will refresh. Okay, still not. Oh, of course not, because silly me, I need to generate SSL. Let's encrypt. So let's obtain the certificate and install it. And if all goes well, I'm gonna go visit, and there's the script already that will track, not track, but to ping the visit. Is it done? No, installing. So it's going to ping the, whoa, what did I do? Oh, damn it. I know what I've done wrong. I didn't do the www domain. So yeah, there's that. Obtain certificate. Yeah, and once it's installed, we'll be going. Yeah. So yeah, Sebastian, don't mention. That's perfectly fine. That let's figure out what's going on there. Let's speak later. Yeah. And we'll be almost finishing. Even I thought this would be like half an hour. It's already 48, but I'll try my best to have this shorter. Yeah, I need to make a cool process. Okay, so if I were to visit here, yeah, it worked. Great. So the first visit pinged under the hood for the analytics, and I can already see that there's a visit. Oh, right. From Algeria. Not sure why pinging from there. Okay, so total visits. So maybe a bot or something. I'm not sure. That was weird, but okay, that's behind the scope of the live. What's cool is that we've just used Docker, and we've installed without knowing any Docker, right? We just have like a declaration of dependencies. Oh, I can visit, yeah. So there's just this. Let's go back maybe to the project. So let's ignore .git. We wouldn't need that. Git ignore also. So this is the base. It's also the services, instructions. This is related to the project, and this is also not. So look, environment file for some credentials or details for the environment, and there's this Docker compose. This is some definitions for the database. So what we're going to do is, yeah, here we go. No Docker involved at all. I just know that I'm running this container on this port, and I have data safe because it's under a volume, and repeat 3 times, and that's it. uh, I don't even have to know anything about this because um, Plausible took care of that for me, and yeah, that's it. we we're done. Yeah, Sebastian, Patricio is my last name. João is my first, but as it's difficult to pronounce and so on, I just got used to Patricio, and that's easier, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So what else? Go and visit Awesome Self-Hosted. There are some cool projects which are Laravel and self-hosted. Not sure if there are some here, but there's Monica HQ and Office Life coming out. That will be Inertia. They're already finishing. And this is some. I think this is self-hosted. I hope I'm not making any mistake. So source code on GitHub, and yeah, so there's the Docker for self-hosting, I'm gonna bet. Um, okay, not yeah, I don't want to go into details too much. There's also Bookstack. Yeah, also with self-hosting, there's the cloud version, and also self-hosting possibility, and also Laravel. And yeah, if you want to play and or maybe use as is, it's also perfectly fine. I also liked Directors, and probably we're going to do a live stream on this. It's a no-code platform, instant API, and yeah, there's that. That's all because of the self-hosting capabilities, powered by yours truly, Docker. You might not like it, but yeah, you don't have to know it in that complexity wise. The reason for some people not to adopt it, maybe they don't need it, and that's perfectly fine. I just want to make everyone aware that without the complexity, just using as a with this tiny footprint, I want this and that. That's it. That's it. Here we go. Enjoy. Sebastián Pérez, yo hablo español, así que es fácil para mí. Ah, claro. Bien, bien, bien. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I hope I see you in the next one. I will for sure close this, not close, but wrap up in a blog post, maybe re-record the thing or just use it some highlights. Not sure, maybe some screenshots. Let me know what you think. Let me know what self-hosted apps did you enjoy from the awesome self-hosted. There's tons, there's hundreds. Let me know what you're doing, and yeah, I hope I see you in the next one. Thank you, Sebastian, for joining. Moshud, everyone at home watching after this is a great goodbye. I hope to see you soon. I have to find the button. Here we go. So not sure if it's once or twice I have to click, so bye bye guys, happy coding, ciao.